Yo, what's up guys? It's King Sean here, back with another video, and in today's video I will be discussing the Carson Wentz update as well as how Taylor Heinicke can possibly save the season, as it is looking like we won't be going anywhere. So if you guys are new to my channel, leave a like down below, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'm on the road to 900 subscribers, so if you could hit that sub button, I'd really appreciate it. So other than that, let's get to the video. Alright, so reported earlier by Ian Rappaport and Mike Garofalo, he said that quarterback Carson Wentz is facing a recovery time of roughly 4 to 6 weeks, and injury reserve is consideration. He's currently in Los Angeles meeting with the hand specialist because of his fractured ring finger, and I think Ben Standing tweeted later in the day that Carson Wentz is expected to have surgery later this Monday. So obviously, it's looking like Carson Wentz is gonna miss 4 to 6 weeks. Obviously, it looks like that 4 to 6 week stretch we're gonna play, I believe, the Packers, Colts, Vikings, Eagles, as well as the Texans and Falcons. Now, I think he will only be out for 4 weeks. I think he's gonna recover fast. I don't think it's gonna take too long to recover, but still, you can see it as a major, you can see it as a blow for us, because before I get to how Taylor Heinicke could save this season or be well enough to win us some games, Carson Wentz, he really isn't terrible. I mean, he's had some bad moments, like really bad moments in the season, but he really isn't that bad. I won't spend too much time on him, as I already discussed in my last video, his injury. But Carson Wentz, he really isn't terrible. I mean, if you look at his stats, and you don't really go all on stats, but if you just look at his stats, I think he has about 1,000, like over 1,400 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That is kind of a lot. The first 6 weeks of the season, that's one interception per game. But those aren't terrible stats. Now, obviously, if you look at the actual game, the film, it's not great. It doesn't really look great. He kind of overthrows his guys sometimes. I haven't seen many underthrows, but you can argue that as well. He doesn't look at open guys' directions. So there are some issues to Carson Wentz, but there's also some positive things to him. Obviously, strong arm. He can sometimes make plays to his guys like Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, John Dotson. Now, one thing that does slack on Carson Wentz is he has no mobility, and that's something Taylor Heinicke will bring, as he will be starting and replace the Carson Wentz I will get to in a second. But Carson Wentz, he does lack mobility. I think last game against Chicago, Scott Turner tried to run a play with him, like a read option, to try and get the first down. Carson only got like 1 or 2 yards there. It just didn't look like he was he was just like really, it was looking like he was like jogging, limping out there when every time Carson Wentz runs, it just doesn't look like he's just running fast at all. I mean, it looks like he's jogging out there when he runs. Now, part of that, specifically last game against the Bears, he did suffer an ankle injury. I think before or during the game, but he did suffer an ankle injury, so that could have played a part as well. But still, he just isn't as mobile as he was back in 2017, 2018, 2019. So in his Philly days. So yeah, that's a tip on Carson Wentz, and that's something Taylor Heinicke will bring for us. So hopefully Carson Wentz can get back healthy. I was optimistic about him trying, maybe turning around this season, but we'll see what Taylor Heinicke can do, which I will get to right now. All right, so it's already been confirmed, not official from the actual Commanders, but it's most likely gonna be Taylor Heinicke starting in place for Carson Wentz for ever much time he's out. Obviously 4 to 6 weeks. The max is 6 weeks, but at least these next 4 games. And these next 4 games are our toughest stretch of the season. I mean, we're going up against the Packers, who didn't look good at all against the Jets. The Colts, they beat the Jaguars at 3-2-1, I believe. And then possibly the top 5 teams in the NFL, in my opinion, right now. The Vikings, and the best team in the NFL, the Eagles, and the NFC East as well. So it's gonna be a tough challenge for Taylor Heinicke. In this stretch, it's really hard to predict because you never know with this team. But I feel like Carson Wentz, he has a better arm than Taylor Heinicke. He does make a little bit more mistakes than Heinicke, but at the same time, he creates bigger plays than Heinicke. Now, one thing Heinicke has over Wentz is his mobility, his ability to escape out of the pocket, scramble, get some yards, like 5, 10 yards plays. So that's one thing I love about Taylor Heinicke. And Taylor Heinicke, he's a really good leader. He's a really good leader. He will make mistakes here and there, but he's a pretty good leader. The only really thing Taylor Heinicke lacks is his lack of arm strength, his lack of arm strength, which is why we brought in Carson Wentz, because he has a big arm. He can get it downfield to his receivers. Taylor Heinicke, we just didn't see it from him last year. And when he did throw it deep, I mean, it was just underthrows. I think there was this one Terry McLaurin play in like the Cowboys game, Week 16 last year. Terry McLaurin had Trayvon Diggs beat, but Taylor Heinicke just threw it short, like by like 2 to 5 yards. So yeah, that's the only drop off from Taylor Heinicke to Carson Wentz, really. In terms of athleticism, his arm strength. But I like Taylor Heinicke. I really do. He's a good leader. He can scramble. Obviously, I said we just know what we're gonna get out of Taylor Heinicke. He can win you some games, but he can also lose you some games. He did bring us to that 4-game winning streak last season. So I really appreciate that from Taylor Heinicke. But in my opinion, so say Carson Wentz comes back against the Falcons right? Before that, if Taylor Heinicke isn't doing great, I'd say put in Sam Howell, because while I do love Taylor Heinicke, we already know what we're gonna get from him. He's gonna win us some games. He's gonna lose us some games. I'd say put Sam Howell in and see what he can do, because if Heinicke's like 1-3, I mean the season's probably already over by now. So you should just put in Sam Howell, see what he can do, maybe for the rest of the season or until Wentz comes back. If Heinicke's not doing good, of course, but if Heinicke's not doing good, put Howell in. Like I said last video, I did say put Howell over Heinicke. Now my opinion has kind of changed. Put Heinicke in if he's not doing well. Put Howell in until Wentz comes back or for the rest of the season. So, yeah, that is my take on Taylor Heinicke starting. I really like Taylor Heinicke. I believe he can do us some good. I believe he can win us some games. In Carson Wentz's absence. Now this is a tough stretch to go on. Packers, Colts, Vikings, Eagles. Maybe he can win us 1 or 2 games out of it. I don't believe. I mean, of course, we're not going to win all 4 because these are some really tough teams we're going up against, especially the Vikings and Eagles. But I believe he can potentially win the Packers game for us, because last year we played the Packers. We were going to beat the Packers, but a lot went wrong for us that game. But yeah, that is really my analysis for Taylor Heinicke. I believe he can win us some games. He can start and win us some games. He can do some good things too. So yeah, that is my opinion on Taylor Heinicke starting and how he can potentially save the season for us. So that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below, subscribe, turn on notifications, leave your comment on what you guys think about Taylor Heinicke starting, and if you think Heinicke or Sam Howell should be starting and replace for Carson Wentz the weeks he will be absent. And other than that, it's me, King Sean, and I'm out. Peace.